Okay, everybody, I want to thank you very much for coming here this morning to the Hockey for All Center. Appreciate your flexibility in the schedule, in being able to appreciate our announcement on Thanksgiving Monday and then be here this morning before the team flies out this afternoon. So we are in a bit of a tight schedule here today. So the way this is going to work is General Manager Kevin Hellebuyck will make a brief statement. Then Mark and Connor will sign their contracts for a photo opportunity, followed by brief statements from Rick, Mark, and then Connor. We'll get to questions from the floor quickly, and then we'll also do scrums afterwards in the hopes of getting everybody to the airplane on time. So we'll get underway with the General Manager of the Winnipeg Jets, Mr. Kevin Hellebuyck.
Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, for coming. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago, we had the opportunity to have a chat before training camp started, and I mentioned at that point in time that there's two real exciting times of the year: it's training camp and when you start the playoffs. But we have a unique opportunity here to have a third real exciting time here, and this is a real pleasure for me to be sitting beside Scheifele and Helly here. That what they've committed to our organization, what our organization committed to them, speaks volumes about what they want. They want to win, and we've had opportunity to have some conversations together, and it was very, very clear to me in those conversations, two things. Both of these players, both of these individuals have a unique desire to win. And both of these players want to win with the teammates that they have here, and that was music to my ears and music to to everyone in the organization. So it was an exciting day yesterday. We had an opportunity a couple of days ago to spend a family day at Camp Manitou, and the guys had some time to go on a fishing trip for some great team bonding. But now it's time to play hockey, and I think that's a real exciting thing. So congratulations to both of you. Thank you very much on behalf of the organization and the fans, and we're real excited to take the next steps. So we have an opportunity here to sign. I guess you can sign either one. They're both the same. Congratulations, guys.
Okay, go ahead, Rick.
Well, I think it's a fantastic day for our franchise, the city of Winnipeg, province of Manitoba, and all of Jets Nation. You're looking at two world-class athletes that if they had wanted, they could have waited till July 1st and pretty much gone wherever they wanted. But they've chosen to stay here with our franchise and help us win. And our goal obviously is to win the Stanley Cup. They firmly believe that we can do it, and they're obviously going to be two very huge parts for doing that. So it's a fantastic day for all of us. The teammates are thrilled. The coaching staff is thrilled. Management's thrilled. So, and I know it's a great day for our fan base. So congratulations again to you both, and thanks for staying.
I did just want to add one more thing. These deals don't get done without a lot of hard work, in the background. And specifically, I'd like to thank, Helly's agent Ray Petkow, who's here today, and Scheifele's agent Craig Oster for the tremendous work that they did with myself and Larry Simmons behind the scenes, to make this all happen. And again, really appreciative of the professionalism that went on there. So thanks to those individuals.
Go ahead, Scheifele.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm very honored, first and foremost. I'm very honored and can't thank the organization, Mark Chipman, Chevy, Bones for trusting in me as a player. And, obviously I was drafted here. Actually, my mom reminded me that I signed the deal on the eve of my first NHL game. So, or not on the eve, on the actual day. So, it's crazy how, that's pretty wild. So, it's pretty wild how things happen, and there's nothing I want more in this world than to win a Stanley Cup for the Winnipeg Jets, and to do it alongside Helly, to get this whole process done, with the likes of a Vezina goalie like Connor, and can't think of a more hardworking, dialed in, athlete in our game, and I'm lucky to be sitting beside him here today, and just can't thank the fans, can't thank my family enough. I'm tremendously honored and just very excited to get the season going.
Go ahead, Ellie.
That was well spoken. It's gonna be hard to follow. I would definitely like to thank the organization, Chevy, Chip, Coach, Rick, Wade Flaherty. I mean, so many guys to thank. Mark, you're a big part of, the guy I am today. You've definitely paved the way for me and a lot of players in this organization to do what's right. And when you're sitting back and you're gathering all the information you possibly can, and you look around the league, you don't get a team that is dialed as we are. And I think that leads with you, Mark. So thank you for being the player you are, and thanks to the organization for believing in me. And I think that was the most important aspect when I really looked at it, is this organization believes in me the way I believe in myself. And that's kind of the way I've gotten to where I am now, and it's really hard to leave that. That breeds success, and I want to thank you guys a lot for believing in me the way I believe in myself. And now I'm ready to be a Jet for life and bring a cup to this city, because I truly believe that we can get it done here.
Okay, we'll take some questions from the floor. I think we'll start over here with Kelly Moore from CGOB.
Kevin, first off, Connor and Mark, congratulations. Kevin, you joked about the contracts are exactly the same. Like, did you have Craig and Ray and Connor and Mark all in the room hammering this thing out?
Well, it was a kind of a unique situation how all things played out, and we didn't obviously go into the negotiation knowing where everything was going to come out, but again, kudos to Larry Simmons and both respective agents for finding a unique strategy. One thing that was very, very clear from the moment that we started to get serious about talking about these contracts, it really warranted Helly and Scheifele and myself to sit down and have some face-to-face conversations and talk about both sides' desire, so everyone knew. But from that point on, it was very clear that the desire was to get a deal done, and sooner rather than later. It's great that we have this opportunity to go into the season with this fantastic news.
And I'll just one more question, Mark, if I could. Your idol being Stevie Y and your association with Dale Hawerchuk, how much more significant does that make the decision that you've made?
I think those two guys in particular weighed on my thinking a lot. Obviously Dale being a Jet obviously is a big one, and I got asked it actually last night by Elliot Friedman. So I was like, "Are you really gonna pull at the heartstrings at like 8:30 at night?" It's a tremendous honor. I'll never beat Dale Hawerchuk, but to know that he's up there watching down on all of us, and knowing that I'll be a lifetime Jet is pretty phenomenal, and definitely gives me the chills. So I'm very honored and very, very excited.
Go ahead from the Winnipeg Free Press, Ken Weed.
For both of you, why was it important to be a lifetime Winnipeg Jet in making this decision?
I think it speaks a lot to the guys in the locker room. We've said this since day one, that we get along so well, and this team meshes so well, that if the guys around us know that we care and we truly believe in this city and these guys around us, I think that helps them really kind of figure out where this team's going, and that's one direction, that's to win a cup. I think once you have that direct line and that direct goal, and everyone around you has that same mentality and that same line, I think it speaks volume to what you can achieve, and it helps you get to where you want to go.
That was pretty well put. I'm the same way. Me and Connor are both very, very competitive, and we want to win a cup here. And we've had a lot of conversations with Chevy, with each other, with a lot of guys on the team, and our goal here is to win. And obviously this is a big step, and I believe we have such a great team here. We have such I have such tremendous friends that are friends for life that are in that locker room, and we want to win. We want to win a cup in Winnipeg, and there'd be nothing more special than doing that. And We know it takes a lot of hard work, but we all have a lot of hard workers in that room. We have a lot of guys that eat, sleep, and breathe Winnipeg Jet hockey, and that's all we want to do.
Go ahead, Marat.
This question is for Connor. I remember in the spring we were talking about your 2018 extension, and you said one of the reasons why that was so important at that time was you believed in the team growing into a winner, and your decision was made in part by how much talent was around. Have you given thought to these contracts that you and Mark have signed could be that for the next generation of people retained in Winnipeg who are thinking like, hey, they've got their Vezina goalie, their #1 center, that makes it an attractive place?
Definitely, and I want to start with thanking a couple people that I think I might have missed on my opening statements. I want to thank Wade Flaherty, the goaltending coach. I want to thank Randy Wilson, my summer goaltending coach. I want to thank Ray Patcal, my agent. I think those 3 guys give me so much information to really make the right decisions and get my game going in the right direction. That being said, I know Scheif has seen me in the summer and seen what we do in the summer, and he knows what we're doing is right. So when we sign these contracts, he not only knows what I'm doing in the summer, but now he knows that I'm all in. So for him, I would imagine that he feels pretty good about coming to the rink every day and giving his all. So if you're saying for the next direction or next generation coming in, I gotta imagine they feel the same way, but you should probably ask them because they can give you a lot of insight. All we can hope for is that we're being good role models and showing what hard work really is.
Okay, we'll take one more question. These guys are going to do scrum, so we'll just take one more. John, if you want to ask that question.
A question for both Mark and Connor. Congratulations, too. Just wondering, when you spoke to us at the beginning of training camp, it sounded like there was uncertainty as to when potential contract talks might have continued. So what was the deciding factor for both of you that it would get done now, before the season began?
I can probably talk a little bit about that. During the summer, we obviously have had lots of different conversations on various different levels. We really didn't, start into the negotiation process. But I think what really for me when I started talking to them is, goes right back to the draft. And when we made the trade, and acquired the players that we did, the message that we wanted to get out there was that we were going to try to win, and that was the direction going forward. And we needed the summer to go through to make sure that the process was going to be followed. And like I said, when we got a chance to sit down, at least I know in my perspective, when I got a chance to sit face to face with both of these gentlemen and explain where we're at, that's really when for us when the process had started with the negotiations in earnest. And that's what I kind of alluded to, I think, in the press conference there, is that there's the contracts will be the contracts. I wanted everyone, these players specifically, to feel like the process was in place for them to feel comfortable that of where the organization was going.
Okay, everybody, I think that'll wrap up the formal proceedings. As I said, each will be available for a scrum. I think we'll start with the players individually first, so that they can go and get to the plane, and then we'll do Rick and then Chevy. So we'll clear out the front row here of chairs so that's a little bit more space, and we'll do the scrums here in front of the table. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Lunch will be served shortly. Thank you.
I'm sure it'll get done. I'm sure we'll treat the boys to something nice.
How much did you guys chat amongst yourselves? 'Cause, we look at the identical numbers and the co-press conference. How much discussion behind the scenes between you and Mark?
Well, I'll tell you, the biggest discussions I have is with my wife, so I'd like to thank her for the countless hours. Andrea, thank you for the countless hours of just listening and hearing me try to prepare for the future and the hours that I put in and dealing with the kids. So Thank you for that. But between Mark, I've seen him during the summer, so I've seen him a couple times, and we always pick each other's brains about what we think, where we're at, and what we think the future holds for us. So, I mean, there's definitely some good dialogue there.
The fact that deals are in complete lockstep with each other, is that extra special to you? That's, to the penny and to the year and everything, that they're identical?
Yeah, I think that's pretty rare that you get two guys that are linked like that.
Right.
And I couldn't wish for a better player to be linked with, because like he was saying earlier, we're both pretty dialed, and he's a next level of dialing it in and really what a true pro is. So that we're with each other for the next 7 years, pushing each other and helping each other, and I think we're going to really set a good role model for the next generation coming up, and hopefully the fans can see that we care about being here, and we love being here, and we're together on this.
How tempting was July 1st and why not try?
I mean, you're asking a future question. Right now, let's enjoy the present. I think what was tempting is being around a fan base that loves us so much and cares so much about us, and an organization that believes in us so much. And I think that was really what you want to be around. That's what you want to surround yourself around. When you're putting that much hard work and when you care as much as you do, and you see everyone around you has that same feeling, and that's what you want to be part of, and that's how you win, and that's what you want to win for.
Connor, how much did your teammates kind of were in yours and Mark's ears to try to lobby, to try to convince you guys to stay long term?
I don't think there was a lot of that. I think there is kind of an unwritten rule in the hockey world of letting guys, their business, figure itself out. If they need something, they'll come to you. So I think it was more of, if someone says, hey, I'd love to have you around, that's as far as it goes. Or if you really pick someone's ear, then they give you everything that they've been thinking. But for the most part, it's let the business side handle itself and just make sure you're being the best player you possibly can be.
A lot of people sometimes talk about how rebuilds and whatnot and moving pieces, but in the NHL it's hard to win. And how much of an advantage do you think you guys have, given that the same core has been together for such a long time?
Yeah, we've been a good team. We are a good team. And we've shown that for years. And I think when you look at the league as a whole over the last 10 years, Winnipeg Jets are up there at the top in wins and chances at cups. So that's very, very desirable. I think with these contracts, it helps show people around the league that not only you come here to win, but you come here to succeed as a player, as an individual. Our team's pretty dialed, and that leads into more guys getting dialed and more guys learning the proper way and what's going to make you feel good and play good. And I think that's what you want to be as a player when you're coming into this league, and everyone talks about becoming a pro and being a good pro. Well, if you have guys in front of you that are showing you the exact way to do it, then there's no questions about it.
You talked a lot about belief. You talked a lot about belief. When did it sink in that these guys were showing you the belief that made you feel the way that you were talking about?
When you got to gather a ton of information when you're in the shoes I am. And after gathering all that information, I had good talk with Chevy before camp and how much he wanted to win and what he was willing to do to win. And I think those are important conversations to have, because a guy could feel that way, and if he never says it, you just don't know. And then your mind starts to wander. So really putting those words down on paper, it means a lot. Because when I'm putting all that work in the summer and I'm grinding and I'm putting my body in the line every day, you want to see everyone else doing the exact same. And it's not just in the locker room. It takes the whole organization to win a cup. And that's why they give away those Stanley Cup rings to everyone, because it does take everyone. It takes the whole organization, takes everyone off the ice, and the media and the medical staff. It takes everyone. So when you know everyone around you feels the exact same way you do, you know you're going to succeed.
After the contracts were done yesterday, you go home, what kind of emotions are you feeling? Is it a bit of relief, a bit more excitement?
There's definitely some excitement. I like to try to keep my emotions under me, so you're not going to see me get too high, too low. But like I said, there's times where you need to let those emotions out, and you need to get high, and you need to feel what it's like up there. So inside, I'm up there. I might not be showing it, but inside, I'm up there, and I'm enjoying this, and this is the start for an amazing next 8 years, but another 7 years on top of that to the career, and hopefully we can bring a cup home for the Winnipeg Jets.
Connor, from a numbers standpoint, does it feel like that you guys, that both of you guys, have given the team sort of a home team discount? Because I imagine that you probably could have sought or garnered higher on an open market next year.
Yeah, and that's the tough game that we play, the business side of it, where do you really want to chase money or do you want to chase a cup? And, there's a lot of risks that go into playing a season and hitting the free market. You just never know what the cap's going to do. You never know what the needs are around the league. And that's where you just try to gather as much information as you can so you can make the best decision that you can. That being said, I think our contracts are good enough for us to keep a good team around us. That's probably a really good question to ask Chevy, and I encourage you to ask that because that's going to be really projecting the future. And right now I'm kind of living in the moment and enjoying what we just did.
Thanks, Connor. Congrats.
Chiefs.
Yeah, buddy.
How you doing, Jay?
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good seeing you.
When did it begin to sink in that this was your future?
I'd probably say the last few days. Really, getting down to the nitty gritty. You get a lot of time to reflect and everything. So, it's exciting. It's I still don't think it's actually fully sunken in. Actually signing the deal and all that. But I think the biggest thing was seeing the reaction of the guys' faces yesterday and hearing some of the things that they've been saying. I think that's been the brightest spot in it all.
Connor said that you guys checked in a bunch throughout the summer, just knowing whether each other's heads were at. What kind of things are important when you guys are approaching this together?
I think like a lot of it's out of our control. I think me and Helly are guys that love the game. We skate together quite a bit in the summer when I'm in Michigan, and just talking the game. What works, what doesn't work, what what can make the team better, what didn't go right last year. All of that stuff, and I think that's what I love about him is how much he thinks about the game, how much he thinks about working on his game. How dialed in he is in terms of his off ice work, his on ice work. I respect that so much in him, and he's a really big reason why I decided to stay.
Mark, how much of a sense do you think the team will use this announcement maybe as a launching point for the season here? Obviously, excitement and maybe some momentum out of it. Is that the hope?
Yeah, I'd hope so. That's obviously it's big news for us in particular, and obviously the organization and the guys in the room. This is it's a team sport, and where I think we're all excited to just get playing hockey again. We're happy preseason's over and ready to get the season started, and obviously this is a fantastic thing to go into the season, and hopefully we use the extra energy come tomorrow night, and it's just an exciting time, just starting the season, and this is, it's just a tremendous last couple of days and just ready to get playing again.
Winnipeg sometimes gets this rep as a place that players don't want to go to, whether it's on no trade lists or free agency, whatever. The organization has a history of retaining drafted and developed guys. You and Connor are just the latest. Why do you think that is?
I think a big part of it is the guys in the room. We have a lot of amazing people, from training staff to coaches to media guys. Everyone up and down our organization. There's a lot of amazing people and a lot of lifelong friendships, and I think that's the biggest reason. That's why people come and that's why people stay is for the guys in that room and the guys that you spend every single day with, and that speaks volumes to the character and the amazing people we have in that locker room.
How important was it to get this deal done before the season starts, so none of these questions would linger either inside or outside the room?
Yeah, it wasn't on my mind a whole lot. Once the kind of the process started, obviously you'd rather sooner than later, but you just never know how those things go, and that's why I have a great agent in Craig Oster, and he handles all that stuff, and obviously very happy it's done now, and we can just get to playing hockey.
Did anything about this
process surprise you, either twists and turns along the way or the timing or anything?
Honestly, not really. You know, I don't. You know, that's why you have a good agent. You know, he handles all that. He gives you all the information, and he does all the conversing with the, you know, with the organization, and you know, we get to play hockey. So, you know, I'm very, very lucky to have him. I'm very lucky to have, you know, amazing family and friends, and you know, most importantly, the guys in the locker room.
Chevy had that photo of you signing your contract, and he pulled it up during the press conference. What was that like to see it, and just kind of how does that speak to the long-standing relationship you've had with a lot of the personnel on the staff?
Yeah, it's you know, you don't always think about that until, you know, you see something like that, and then it, you know, brings up so many memories and so many thoughts, and you know, what was going on in my brain during that time. So it's cool to see something like that, and you know, be reminded by my mom yesterday about you know, yesterday being the my first NHL game. So it's all you know, it's all a whirlwind, but you know, God's got a plan for everything, and just got to trust Him.
Mark, if I could, just one question off topic. NHL is saying it's going to, in addition to theme jerseys, it's going to be away from things like pink tape for cancer, pride tape. As an alternate captain, as a veteran, what do you think?
I actually didn't even know that was happening. I didn't get that memo, so I don't have much of a thought right now. I think you have to get me on a different day.
When they pitch you on building a winner here, do they give you any insight into what some long-term plans might be? If everything goes well, will they buy? Like that sort of stuff. Not necessarily for our ears necessarily, but pardon me. The question is, do they give you insight into what their plan is to build around you?
Yeah, for sure. Me and Chevy had a really good conversation. I can't remember. It was before training camp, and you know, I think face to face is always where you get the most done and the most out of you. You know, you see their reactions, but you know, those conversations are between me and him. But you know, it's safe to say those conversations went well, and you know, that's why I'm here. So, you know, we had a lot of great conversations, and I applaud Chevy for conversing with me and Helly and giving us an idea of you know, what they see in us, what they see in the organization, and also giving us the chance to, you know, let him know what we see as players. So, you know, I applaud him and you know, very thankful for, you know, the conversations we've had.
How did you perhaps yesterday celebrate this in any way?
I had Thanksgiving at Dylan DeMello's house, so that was nice. I got to hang out with Oliver and get some alone time with him, but it was honestly just kind of getting ready for a hockey game. You know, doing my normal routine and kind of getting prepped for a big game tomorrow. So it's always business for me. It's never, you know, I'm not much of a celebrator. I'm a pretty private guy and just kind of like to play hockey and play golf and work out. So, you know, I just enjoyed my night. I have low-key season 2 first episode still to watch, so I think that'll be my celebration.
Thank you, guys.
Rick, I think Josh Morrissey said this is like a bolt of energy through the room. How can this momentum maybe be harnessed for the season that starts tomorrow?
Well, it is certainly a big boost because it eliminates the questions of 2 of your best players and how long they're going to be here. So you don't win in this league without elite goaltending, and we certainly get that. And you don't win in this league without elite centermen, and Mark gives us that. So I think that's the big message to the whole team, every player. Wow, we can win now. They fill 2 big voids if they had left. So it's great to have them, and it's a huge confidence boost for our team that they want to stay. Again, they had options. They could have waited July 1st and gone wherever they wanted to go, but they chose Winnipeg, and they chose this team, and that's that's, you know, it's a big boost for their teammates because they're telling their teammates, no, we're in this fight with you.
Inevitably, when long-term extensions get signed, people will talk about how are these contracts going to age. You know these 2 players well. They're both 30. You feel like their best hockey is still very much in front of them for both guys?
Yes, very, very much. They're in the prime of their careers. So the end of those contracts, they take care of themselves. The only thing that matters is what's going to happen now and in the short term. They're both in the prime of their careers, and I think you're going to see that you're going to see both of them have outstanding years, which is great news for our franchise.
You talk a lot about players who show that they want to be here. that was your comments there. You've talked about other players in that shoes.
Yeah.
How do they, beyond contract, how are they showing that, and how does that contribute to what you're trying to build here?
Well, it shows everyone. We don't have one player in that room that has a half a foot out the door. We don't. They all want to be here. They all want to be part of the Winnipeg Jet team. They all want to be part of the growing with the Winnipeg Jets and where we're going. So in order to do that, you need your best players to show that commitment, and we got it today. We know the other players that are here, they're signed for a long term. But this just shows everybody in that room, okay, we think we can win with you guys. We're staying here with you, and we're a big family here, and we're part of the family for a long time.
Sometimes you get real good years out of players who are going into the last year of their contracts for obvious reasons. What does Mark have to do to help make this team?
Listen, everyone has to be better. We didn't win the Stanley Cup last year, so the message from day one of training camp, we didn't win the Cup. That means everyone has to be better. Mark specifically, we need him to do what he's been doing, scoring goals, and we need him, like everyone else on the team, to play a solid 200-foot game and play the game the right way, and he's more than capable of. But again, it's just not one. It's just not him and Connor now. It's everyone. Until you win the Stanley Cup, you've got to come to the rink every day trying to push, trying to get better, coaches included, and Mark and Connor will certainly do that for us.
The roster's been the same here for a long time, and obviously fans will talk about trading and blowing it up and changing the core, but do you see that there's a advantage to having such a strong nucleus for so many years? It takes teams a while to get over the hump, and this group's been together for a long time.
Yeah, but again, you don't win without certain pieces.
Yep.
Key pieces to your team. And again, you need the goalie, you need the goal scorer, you need the big centerman. We have that. And now they're surrounded with a lot of good quality pieces. So you need the kingpins to carry the team. Those two are certainly capable of doing that. But they're also going to have a lot of help because there's a very strong supporting cast here.
Are you excited about what you saw from practice over the last two practices?
Yeah, it's been good. I really like today's practice. The pace was really good. And again, you get to the words at the end of training camp and everyone, okay, let's play a game for real here. Let's take it to the next level. So you can only practice so much in the exhibition games. And it's unfortunate that we went through that because of the illness and the injuries. But you could tell today that the guys are excited to get the game and the league going again tomorrow.
I try to be aware of where you guys are. Yeah.
All right. So stretch up the arm. Stretch up the arm.
Twist. That first day for the lottery.
Kevin, Connor encouraged us to ask if these deals were, in essence, a home team discount. So in your view, did they pan out that way?
Well, again, I think that both of the individuals, I think, would have commanded, a lot on the open market. I think that, when we did have conversations with them, some of the things that were brought up with obviously each respective agent was that, the player's desire to win, it's the organization's desire to win. We are living in a cap world, so there probably was some give on their parts as far as. Those kind of conversations, but I think that speaks volumes to them. Because it was really apparent when we did start negotiating that, it was a negotiation that you could tell there wanted to be an end result. It wasn't, it wasn't one of those to just kind of see if we can test the waters. Both had a sincere desire to push it across the finish line.
So in essence, does it feel like you've set an internal cap for the team? You do have challenges for free agents.
Yeah, no, again, I don't think that that's necessarily the case. Every individual, you treat every individual contract and situation, with its own merits. So, obviously moving forward here, we want an opportunity to win, and we'll look at anything that we possibly can to help us achieve that goal.
Kevin, you've been in the game a long time, other than maybe the Sedin twins. I can't remember sort of a simultaneous lockstep kind of deals like this. How unique was this process?
It was actually pretty unique, and again, behind the scenes, lots of I guess the biggest thing there was a lot of transparency between the representatives and ourselves, and we kind of it was unique in the sense that I think that we probably shared some things with the other camp about what was maybe going on more so than we would ever have done with with anything else, because I think in our mind it would have been great to get one, it would have been great to get the other, but we really wanted to get both done.
Yeah. And $119 million commitment here. I mean, what's the message? I think it's pretty clear, but what's the message from the organization to put that kind of investment here?
Well, I think, Mark Chipman and David Thompson and the board and obviously John Olford, our president, will speak with one unanimous voice, and that's about the commitment to win, the commitment to Winnipeg, the commitment to the fans. Mark said it many, many times. He's the custodian of the franchise. Unfortunately, they call it the owner, but this is Winnipeg's team, and again, I think that speaks volumes that two players that obviously weren't on the doorstep of free agency, but had the opportunity to kind of seek and look if they really wanted to win, wanted to commit and win in Winnipeg.
Kevin, was there a push from either side to get it done before camp, and then if it didn't, leave it?
Well, I don't know so much leave it because again, I think for us, there was some, I guess, dialogue that said like, if we can do this, let's try to get this done now because this is, again, an important step. And I think, the uniqueness of it yesterday was awesome where, once we got the final yeses from both of them, they got the opportunity to stand in front of their teams in a team meeting and say, that they were committing to Winnipeg. And the roar that came out of the dressing room, unfortunately I wasn't in there, but I was walking by it at the time, and the roar that came out of the dressing room, I knew exactly what had happened.
So you think if it hadn't happened yesterday, it could have happened during the season, or no, it would have been left?
It doesn't matter. It happened.
Kevin, is there a tangible benefit for you in your job to have two guys that you drafted that are, are going to be here for their career?
Well, I think Scheif probably mentioned it a couple of times there. There's, he's grown up with these guys, and it's funny. I showed him a picture of him signing his first contract right here in this building, actually, and because I was looking at it last night. But the comments that I had from some of his teammates, they've all kind of drafted and grown together, and that's important. Like this game, it's hard to win in, and you need to feel like that you have that ability, and that you need to feel like you can do it with the people around you. And I said it up here is that two things were very, very prevalent in the conversation. One, was winning, but two was winning with this group of guys. And so that was great. And they said the individual conversations that I had with with Connor and with Mark, I think went a long way because what we talked about was, I said, don't just sign a contract. If you want to be a Winnipeg Jet, let's get this done.
So how important is that for the franchise in the long term? You have two draft and develop guys that will presumably retire here now. For the Winnipeg Jets to go to the rest of the league, to bring prospects here, to bring free agents here, how important is that going to be?
Well, I think it does speak volumes because they are top end players in the National Hockey League. They're the top of their their respective positions, and those are hard to find and they're harder to keep. And so again, having that ability, again, it's not just about the money. It's not just about the contracts. It's they only have a period of time in their careers to win, and it's kind of our commitment to them that we're going to do everything that we possibly can, and that's our commitment to the city as well. And I think Mark Chipman has spoken about that a lot. It's a privilege to be in the National Hockey League. It's a privilege to have drafted and watched these two individuals grow into the people and the players that they are. And again, it's just a thrill to be able to to have them moving forward with the Jets.
Both players spoke to how I want to say influential it was to hear you kind of open up a little bit about what the plan is and what the vision is. What was the advantage in being a little bit more transparent and sharing that vision with them?
Well, because this is their team. It's not just my team, but I'm tasked with making some tough decisions. I'm tasked with making sure that things fit under the cap and those things. So I brought them some stuff. I showed them some things that again how the process does unfold when you're trying to do massive things like this, and what it means and what it means kind of moving forward, and not just for themselves, but for for potentially other individuals as well. Because as John alluded to, there is like they probably could have gotten more individually and on the open market in an open bidding war. But again, that was their commitment to us to try to make sure that we had resources still available to spend and try to help surround them with good players.
Can we ask you about stuff and things that you showed them?
Well, no, again, again, there's obviously you look at the salary cap stuff, you talk about those kind of things. We talked about the prospects that we had in the organization, things. I basically the conversations that we wanted to have were just going to be open and transparent. I'd fortunately been around these guys, for a long enough time that, we've had lots of conversations in the past, but these were kind of open and heart to heart because obviously, the commitment they made to us and the commitment we were, prepared to make to them was substantial.
Kevin, just to be clear, the picture of Mark signing his contract, his first contract there, have you been carrying that around in your camera roll for 12 years?
Absolutely, and I actually have one other thing as well. I have a game-worn jersey from his first game as well. So, again, as a general manager, he was our first pick, and I remember what went into that, with our scouts, and I got a text message yesterday from Marcel Como and Mark Hellebuyck, who were the two guys that were instrumental in guiding us when we took over the franchise, from an amateur standpoint, and again to extend both of those players, knowing that again they were a part of drafting them, was a thrill for them as well.
You've been holding out.
You're gonna think I'm a sophomore.
Just off topic. Last week, notes were sent to all NHL teams about theme nights, all kinds of theme nights. No warm-up jerseys, no tape on sticks, but they could do it voluntarily on their own time. This team has been so inclusive in your programming. I mean, how do you handle that?
Well, so I guess I haven't really had the time to go through the emails. We haven't had the time to really talk to the players necessarily about it. I do know that this organization, takes great care in wanting to be inclusive and the theme nights. What the specifics of the memos are, I really can't speak to. I don't really have that yet. I'll have to obviously get briefed on that a little bit more. But I do know that the commitment, from an organization standpoint, is we'll do everything we possibly can.
Thank you. Thanks, Kevin.